Once again, we need to congratulate you now in person, Madzebatela, as the MMC Human Settlement, more the city of Tshwane.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And let me apologize for being late. Unfortunately, there's been a few accidents here on the road as we are driving here.
Yeah. Now, Madzebatela, on also or clarify the issue of approval and the adjustment that the reason we are seeing why Harangwa is so dark, why Winterfeld is so dark, why there are so many spillages that will continue is because of your councillors did not what ANC EFF coalition did not agree to the adjustment budget. So that is the implication, the failure of the council not adjusting this budget.
But we have other means that we can work around. So the not passing of the adjustment budget does not mean that service delivery has to stop.
Yeah.
There is provisions within the law that which we can work around such issues. One of them is to get condonement. But the most simplest one we can do is to take that adjustment budget back to council to vote on it in the next coming council, which is next week, Wednesday. That's the most simplest one, the easiest one that we can do. But we can also in future, so that because if ever a spender outside the adjustment budget, reinvite the AG. And that will create other issues, as you know, on his findings, as we've already been found in the red with the AG. But there are ways in which we can do it, and one of them is through condonement. It is provided for in this MFMA Act, and so we have remedies around that. And another one is to ask for an extension with the MEC as well as National Treasury, which we have done. We have written to them. We said you can see that there is progress. There is political leadership now in the city. We have been able to pass the public participation of the IDP and the MTREF. Those are legislated and very important. They are out there. And we are asking that communities must participate in these things. There's a city budget involve where they want the city to prioritize spending and it's very important that they participate in these things.
Now maybe briefly take us through the public participation process. MTREF, how the public how is this how will it be carried forward to enable the public to participate?
Look, that process is now in the hands of the speaker. I'm sure in the next coming weeks and days they will be able to tell the public where they can go and give input. But if you go on the intranet, on the city's website, I'm sure there is a space for you to also be able to give input. But public participation is solely in the office of the speaker, and I am sure in the coming weeks he will be clarifying ways in which people will be normally I think people are called go Olong, go Mabupane, go Olong, go Soshanguve in this region here on Island Region 1, where people are called to give input and participation around those things. So they must look out for those invites in the next coming months. It must come back to council May after public participation. So during this whole month of May as well as the remaining 2 weeks of April, the public must be able to input on those two things. And it's very important. And but do not participate in these things. Why it is because we do not participate in these things. And it's very important that we participate in these things.
So the meeting will be called solely by the speaker's office, not the councillors or...
No.
It's only
It is the office of the speaker that conducts public participation.
No, quite interesting. Now, we are still on the issue, that, okay, So, meaning from your explanation that you just gave, the issue, province coming back again to say, we put this thing under administration does not hold water.
No. You know what I want to thank, maybe let me thank also my political party, the Democratic Alliance, in the last administration that they took this case to court. It clarified the murky waters of 139 to say when can the higher sphere of government interfere in local government. And it really helped us a lot. So, and also maybe the leadership of the ANC that is sober right now, that is able to differentiate between politics and the administration of the cities as well as the province. So we have had an undertaking. I've not spoken to the MEC of Kokta and Tatemzi, but I've heard his interview the Sunday on 702. He says he has no interest in placing the city under administration because they have met certain milestones. It is just only this adjustment that has not been passed, but they are communicating with the city through the accounting officer, that is the city manager, to see how do we help each other, and also National Treasury. How do we help each other improve the finances of the city? As we know, the city is having serious financial strains, and part of that is the issue of revenue collection and other issues that has faced the city. But we are also saying the AG has found certain things in his report, which himself is unable to prove, but we will give them a chance to be able to clarify some of these things for us. Sometimes we have this politics, but it's okay. It's okay that let's not go into that. But we will clarify these things as Nako Inzia. But what is important is that the city is seriously facing financial challenges, and if you look at the president recently called the Lekgotla together with the Minister of Finance for Local Government at SALG, and one of the key discussions was how do we look at the funding model for local government, because it's solely dependent on what national gives them, and also revenue collection, and that's it. Or we go out on borrowing. So for a city like Tshwane, our credit record is not good. We are unable to go and get loans. Even the overdraft, it's in danger. So you can see that we are having problems. Now, how do we look at a different funding model for local government, and how do we apportion the national fiscus to local government? Because this is the implementing government, it is here on local government where service delivery is felt and is seen. Do we apportion it more money from the national fiscus, or what do we do? But I am really calling on the residents. The notion of free things, has really clouded the mind of our people. You can do all these other things, but there is why the apartheid government democracy. It is solely because we are missing those deadlines because of this notion of when we use electricity in the city of Tshwane, Eskom comes and bills us and say 1.2 billion. We only collect 800 million. Then the 400 million Eskom. Limits the same thing, rent, water. The rates and taxes are on. We don't pay the rates and taxes. And Albu Rama Dumbu Baba collecting the refuse. Collecting these refuses. We are not paying for them. Mara. Hey, who can fit that big house and collect do a matlagal? Yo, don't want to but we are not paying for these services, and it's important that we pay for these services. For those who do not qualify, there is the indigent program that we also need to look into. Not about qualify, but Seleba applies over more indigent thing and sensible more indigent thing. Kachogo or Untatemudis or Ofentse or MMC or Sensen Ukrea the free water and electricity. You are working.
Yes.
So we need to also polish our indigent program. Le batho ba rona tshwantse ba be honest. I don't know. Nano ke a bereka, ke kopa le nke ntshe mo indigent thing and ke tla khona go patela di services. We need honesty if we are to improve. And wabana if wa patela and how create the services, then you can complain.
Yes.
That is why u utlwana kongwe batho ba re ko makgweng kwa di services di a fiwa ding go reactiwa ka pele. You are a businessman. Here's a paying client and here's a non-paying client. You need to respond.
Yes.
Respond. Who do you respond to? So, and I'm not saying that there's preferential treatment. There's no preferential treatment. But at the end of the day, tshwanetse le rona re le batho re itebellisise. It's been 3 years, 5 years, you've never paid anything. But metsi a tswa mo pompong. Motlakase, okay, fortunately mo Harangkwa re na le Eskom. Le ona Eskom e tshwantse re challenge to say batho ba Harangkwa ba reka mabone. Even though Eskom re ha re reke mabone e ra nota. Re reka mabona mkunyata di 300 ba rokora 2000 units. A kitsi byanga 300 because not 300 empa 100 units. So those things we need to look at the relevant and we re tshwantse re khalemane France. If o a itse gore France o no dile, if o a itse gore France o connectile metsi illegal, if o a itse gore France o reka mabona mkunyata, I must be able to say mara France o re bola ba botle. How bola ina there is why ka go transformation here. But was on 5 they are waiting for a new transform. But what the heights they are always complaining.
And the
fistes continue because of a botsane nnete na go ngwe le re fisa le sekontiri tshwantse re re Eskom e tla wire audit and Eskom must respond and come and make an audit. Then ba ka France ha it's ba mo disconnect because of orobola ba botle. This informal settlement that are spewing no land expropriation ke lefatse la borona mandla ha re bone hore dio tse di bolale city because we are now spending a lot of money, hundreds of millions of rands on providing for water tankers, on providing for chemical toilets. There's a bigger problem, a societal problem that we need to start conscientizing ourselves. Nalo ena France re ntse go borona go back room go di boys room ra hile mkhukhu ka mo jarateng until re khona for the go tswa go rogram ha ra tsamara utswa lefatshe. So in other words, we're also awarding criminality. So this is it's a very complicated thing, and that the mudisakitso renal na re kai ampega ra bua ka yona. But ne se mo ne re bua ka mtrefe le public participation le tse dintse ke tsere ke moya ke a lo bogata ka
I can see that but also I appreciate the frank and the honesty with which you articulate your position, especially laying bare the shortcomings of the city. It's not every politician you come across that will admit that we are having this crisis.
That I remember when I was campaigning it Lefa. And I promised Bahi Baharangua be elected or not be elected, I will always come back to accountability. And that's what we are doing. And that's the kind of leader that I have not modeled myself, that I've expressed to be, and this is who I am. I'm there as I am. And to be honest, we need different types of politics, and this is the kind of politics that we need. We need honest and open politicians. Do not lie to your people. Be honest and be frank.
The informal settlements in terms of these illegal connections, do you have a plan to resolve that?
I just came back from a high-level engagement with my department for the first time. I sat with my group head and my divisional head, and as you would know, informal settlement fall under my portfolio. And they were giving me these challenges, and I said, but why are we not acting? Because we must be honest with each other. We should be able to act, and we should just come in and disconnect. I'm just being honest. In fact, we should not be having informal settlement. I think it's an abnormality. We should be preventing informal settlements. But how do we prevent it? We must be able to acquire land referee service stands and because I think the government of 1994 were a bit naive to say we're gonna give you everything. It was a bit naive. Right now we are seeing there's a difficulty to providing for that. And then one of the reasons is the unemployment because of if we don't have more people employed, we can't tax. And if we can't tax, the country does not have a fiscus to work with. So that is the biggest problem. But as far as that is concerned, we just need to come and disconnect. Somebody joked and said, maybe we need to contract red ends again in the city. Because back then when we had red ends, we were working very nicely. Things were moving very nicely. But as we disconnect, we must be able to come and connect legally. ESCOM and the Department of Electricity in the city must be able to come back and connect people legally and say, okay, we are connecting you, here's your prepaid meter, go buy electricity. As far as illegal water connection is concerned, that we must really look down on because it can also create problems because it then creates that someone can easily poison contaminate the and we must really look down on it, and wherever that thing is happening, please alert us and we must disconnect immediately.
Maybe to come back to the issue budget, when you engage your ANC EFF comrades, they will say or no, the reason that they would not participate in adjusting the budget is because of the majority of the budget, the majority amount of the budget is allocated towards the east, and the north and your townships areas get quite less.
I'm going to be honest, everybody. And I always say this to people, and I even say to people like you who are presenters and journalists, and that you don't read. Simple as that. You don't read. Go read it for yourself. Don't listen. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to any other council. Go read. It's there. It's a document. It's a living document. It's in front of you. Go read it and see for yourself. And then come back and question me. Or question them when they start talking. Then you will see who's lying and who's not lying. But I will tell you right now, the biggest chunk of our budget as a city goes to Region 1. And Region 1 is where we are. That's where you find Mamelodi, Garangua, and not Mamelodi. That's where you find Garangua, Soshanguve, parts of Soshanguve, Mabopane, and Winterfeld. And the second biggest chunk goes to Saitabo, Atteridgeville, Kwalebo, Lotasi, Those are townships. That's where we are. That's where we are locating our biggest Manigo Rock regional operations. That is service delivery. Even right now, I was looking at my own department's budget. I think 41% of it is going to this region. Imagine that. So I don't know. So and this is what I always say. You would find journalists talking to a politician without even having interrogated the document, listening to what I'm saying. I can easily lie to you because you've not read it. I'm a firm believer in Jesus Christ. And the word of God says, my people will perish because of lack of knowledge. And the lack of knowledge is the fact that we do not read. There was a saying, Aaron, if you wanted to hide something, hide it where?
Inside the book.
Yes. So, and it's proven to be true, even to those that we expect them to be educated, journalists, presenters, and all these people. They do not read. And that is why as politicians, people must read. Simple as that.
And that's why the issue of accountability gets in now.
Yes.
Yeah. You lie today, then you get accountable tomorrow. And the truth surfaces.
But one thing my wife always says, he says that you can't hide the truth. You know, it's like, let's say, you can't hide it. You know, you look at la pesa ka kubo lo bona halo fana bona le you know, you can't hide it. So that is why I don't find myself lying. You know, there's nothing wrong with saying I don't know. There's nothing wrong with saying I will check. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But I'm saying to journalists, people that interview us as politicians from different spheres, and it's not only Bumudisa who did this mistake, and I'm sorry to be bashing on him. Not only them, you would find Lebat Wamu TV, who you would think these are seasoned journalists. But these documents are there.
Yeah, you know, my week more stances are more weddings.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like Cadella. Now, this being the case.
Yes, sir.
Why would they take that posture if really the chunk of the budget goes to the townships?
But is that a statement that the ANC has released, or you've spoken to individuals in their corners?
No.
I've not seen a statement of the ANC.
No, just speaking to
or to individuals.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they are playing politics. I don't know. I can't speak on their behalf.
Yeah.
It's political, you know. Sometimes people need to survive. If Koema Mopela community I did not vote for the adjustment budget, what would be my reason? I would have to say no budget and because our people they don't know. Maybe we need to have people have access to these budgets and see it properly. Maybe it's an engagement we need to have this speaker to say, speaker, make sure that these things go to the people.
Yeah. But yourself as a party, how do you then make sure that people are informed of this political place and
look, if you will. That is why you will see us, especially my political parties, we always try to release videos, media statements. We do these interviews even at that level of community radio.
Yeah.
Some political parties will not even bring an MMC to community radio. We go where it matters. We go where people are. And that is why I always find it very funny when we are told that we are a racist party with black leaders. I don't know. And apparently a black man can't be racist. Apparently. Yeah. But so that's how we do it. You know, we really do that. We hold community meetings. We hold street meetings. Back to basics. Stuff. You know, when I was growing up, there used to be, but it was at the street committee. We are going back there. That's how we get to give the correct information.
Yeah. Maybe to take you back, the you said you were 107, and hence you could not.
Okay, maybe let me qualify that. Remember the coalition, we are 108 since COPE left us?
Yeah.
With the pronouncement of PA saying that they are leaving the ANC EFF coalition. So they would be supporting us now and then. But still something that is under construction. So in this budget, PA supported us. So we would normally be 108. With PA, we have become 109.
Yeah.
So maybe the question is, why didn't we get the other two? Unfortunately, one of the councillors had resigned before this. Citing personal issues. He had resigned, and we understood, and he left. And then the other councillor, unfortunately, had to be hospitalized. So we had two councillors, so we were two down. So we were at 107, and the other side were 104. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So hence the issue. And then remember, we still have vacancies in council. Dope. Is it Dope or Dob?
Dope. Yeah.
Dope had withdrawn their councillor. And then these two, as I said. And does COPE still have a councillor? Oh yeah, they've brought this guy called Ofentse. My namesake. They wanted to be mayor, unfortunately. These people are chances. And that's that. And then the other one, so these vacancies have not yet been filled. Because we should all in all be 214. Hence 50 plus 1 is 108.
And just before the adjustment budget, you had submitted a motion of no confidence towards the speaker, and the rallying call for that was that secure the budget.
No, it's not per se secure the budget. We have issues with the speaker. And we don't think that he's the right person to be in the chair. He has proven to be incompetent in a lot of things, and some of which were shown on the day of the adjustment budget on the 13th. Yes. Yeah. Before the 14th, because we had a council on the 13th. Yes. You just adjourn council it and say that no, we are tired. It's 5 o'clock. What is that? For part-time politicians who are earning the amount of money that they earn to come and work for your residents, and you say that at 5 o'clock we are tired, because other parties were calling caucuses. EFF called the caucus for 3 hours, and they never said for a meeting, not even once. Just come in. That's why one councillor said, why are journalists not reporting on this? People call a 3-hour caucus. They don't go and caucus.
But what is exactly? Because I was looking at that and I was really, what is that? When I don't know what are your rules saying. When a party calls for a caucus, in my head the assumption is that there are pressing issues that you want to discuss and find yourself as a party and come up with a common
ground.
Come to a common ground and speak to in council in one with one voice. And when you come back, I would assume that the chair of the council or the speaker would then say, you requested the caucus. These are the issues you had challenges with. Give us a feedback. So how does it work?
And it should be like that. When a caucus is called, I'm trying to find the relevant section, but I'm not, and I'm very good with these bylaws. Whenever a caucus is called, the person that called caucus must then report back to council and say, this is why we called it and these are the reasons. But when somebody come back after 3 hours and say, no, we were not finding each other, speaker, we are ready to proceed, we have found each other. And when we are about to table the budget, then they say, speaker, can we have 1 hour caucus? And you see, unfortunately, according to the rules and orders of council, these bylaws, the current one, the way they are, we are busy with new ones. The way they are, the speaker cannot say no to a caucus. There's no provision for him to say no. But it says to him, he must use his discretion on how long will the caucus be and how frequent should they be called. So in your discretion, if people have just called the 3-hour caucus, they can't come back and call an hour caucus. You must reject it. And if people have issues with that, they can refer the speaker's decision to rules and ethics, where we will then make a determination on whether the speaker was right or wrong. It's as simple as that. But now this speaker is shown to be incompetent. People call 3 hours, then they call 2 hours, then they call 2 hours, then they call 30 minutes, 1 hour, 1 hour. Then it's 5 o'clock, then speaker says, no, I'm tired. And then you want us to keep such a person on the seat. Makwarela was better.
Even though.
And but now apparently there's a rule that you all agreed to that rule that the council must not sit beyond.
No. That was a Makwarela rule. He said he was suggesting to council. There's no law that says council must end at 5. You have seen in Joburg, in fact, they put 2 days aside. They go in up until 11, and tomorrow morning they're back. Because for a city like the city of Tshwane that is facing the kind of challenges that they're facing, we need as councillors to meet regularly and meet to the fullest extent, to stretch some of these reports, to debate around these reports, and to make recommendations and to give direction to the administration and officials and give them political leeway and give them political direction. Because we are the face of accountability to the residents. And we need to make sure and we meet, because according to this book, we should be meeting 4 times a year. This is in a proper working environment. But we are finding ourselves in an abnormality where things are not well and we need to fix them. So if people are going to say we come to council at 10, at 5, we leave after having called 4 caucuses of 3 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour, Actually, we said only for an hour. So what does that mean? So there is no rule onto that. In fact, there's a proposal right now from the speaker to say he wants it to be a resolution of council, and he's bringing a report. And I'm saying this to you: we're not going to agree to that. I will be asking even my caucus not to agree to that. I will be asking the coalition not to agree to that.
Okay,
So going national, do we anticipate this kind of behavior as well?
It's gonna be a mess.
Oh.
It's gonna be a mess. Right now, I saw yesterday the president is signing into law the independence. And I'm told you only need 20,000 votes to get a seat.
20,000?
Yeah, it said 19,000 or 20,000. Imagine that. We are in trouble.
And by the way,
that is why the DA has proposed certain things, and one of them was that we need to have a higher threshold.
How far
we have
is that?
proposed. Well, it needs to be voted for in that parliament. So we have proposed a 2% threshold, at least a 2% threshold.
Okay.
And then number two, we need to have these contracts binding. And because a 2% threshold in a 20 million voting pool means you must at least get how much? 400,000 votes?
In the 20 million.
Yeah, in 20 million. Yeah.
Plus
around that, yeah, 200. So at least, but 20,000, it's going to be a problem. So we need to really look into how do we legislate these coalitions and really work around those. Because for me, I'm worried. With that bill that has been signed, I'm really worried of the kind of mess we are going to have. Hopefully, the learnings that we are learning will help us and rectify that before next year's election.
Okay, so maybe it's as we wrap up MMC. So you are saying that come the next council, all your people that were on leave will be there. Then you are going to pass this budget, and I guess that will be a clear indication that that majority that will pass that will do the adjustment will then take it further and take Mzwanana out.
No, Mzwanana must. Mzwanana no. And you see, I don't want. Let me not comment, but I think the coalition is clear. We will be bringing that motion back sometime, but we need to make sure that by the time we bring it, the numbers are not just right, but we are sure that the speaker will allow it, because he can deny it until Jesus comes back. So we need to force him. See, what I don't understand with this, and the court ruled in favor of Mzwana to say that he can be a player and a referee at the same time. So I bring a motion of no confidence against you. You sit in that motion. You can't sit on the chair where we are discussing you and your failures. Somebody must preside. You cannot preside over that. It's a motion of no confidence against you. Why are you presiding? So I think the judge erred for me in terms of law. I'm not a lawyer, but the principle of natural justice did not apply there, because to say you are bringing a motion against me, but I'm sitting over my own thing, it doesn't make sense. So we had said that the speaker cannot preside over his own motion of no confidence. What should happen is that a acting speaker must be appointed, and then the acting speaker must sit and oversee that, or the city manager, as provided for by the MFMA. Not the MFMA, but I think the Structures Act, the Municipal Structures Act. So that is where I'm talking about. So we need to make sure that. So the judge made that.
Are you
ruling?
Are you appealing the judgment?
We cannot appeal because there are no reasons. We are waiting for the reasons. He has not given reasons. He has withheld the reasons, and he said he will give them. I wonder what he's going to say, especially after the dating with the incompetence of Mzwana. And I wonder how is he going to defend his decision. So once the reasons are out, then we can know, this is why then we can appeal, because we cannot appeal in the dark. We need to understand what are the reasons that he gave.
So a precedence is set by so doing.
You see, and it's a very dangerous precedence. So we need to appeal that until we get finality on this.
Yeah, but some would say the tables have turned. That it is normally there is this thing that the DA rules through the court, and now tables have turned that the court now is ruled against yourselves.
We don't rule. You see, there's a bad notion. We don't rule through the courts. The Constitution of South Africa is there. We are saying let it be upheld.
Yeah.
If people are flouting it, we will take it to court for it to be protected, because we love South Africa to that extent. To say this is the rule of. You see, once we discard this, then it's a free for all. Then we become a banana republic. So it's very important that we make sure that this is respected. The constitution of this country is respected, and the laws of this country are respected. So the judge made his ruling. There's provision in law for us to appeal up to the highest court. If the highest court comes back and says, no, Mzwanana must sit there, then that's the highest court. So we will leave it at that. But we believe that it cannot be.
Yeah.
And some are saying during when the former Speaker Gadlo Matebe was Speaker, he used to preside over his own motion. No, he never. There was a point where a acting Speaker was appointed and the motion was voted down. It's as simple as that. There were times where he rejected motions because they did not meet the needed criteria on how you submit a motion of no confidence. People will just come into council and say, yeah, we have a motion. There are ways and rules through this bylaw book that tells us how do we submit motions. It must be 7 days before council, and it must pass certain things, and there must be reasons to why we're bringing this motion and all those things. So those things were done. But then Mzwanana decided, I'm going to preside over my own motion. In fact, I dismiss this motion. And then he walks out.
Now, what does that say affect the relationship between Action SA and the Democratic Alliance, given that given that a councillor, in terms of the coalition agreement, the speakership should have gone to Action SA.
No, there's nothing. We are still on that agreement. There's nothing has changed. We are still on that agreement. Nothing has changed. It's just delayed.
Okay. Yes. MMC ake go leboge go ka tsaya nako e go tla go ka shera le rona le baagi ba Garankuwa le Tshwane ka bophara.
You are a very good interviewer. I feel at home when I'm there. I had hoped to interact with the community, but be that it may, we will continue to interact in other platforms and other ways.
Yeah.